Hello everyone. Today we got some pretty big news on the new Lord of the Rings series, The Rings of Power. So Vanity Fair earlier today released an article talking about what the show is going to be about, some of the main points, some of the main characters, and we also got some really cool photos. But before I hop into that, hit that subscribe button below and click that like button. It really helps me and it really supports me. So thank you for being here, and let's get right into it. So the article starts off by saying, Galadriel's world is a raging sea. Far from the wise, elven queen that Cate Blanchett brought to Peter Jackson's acclaimed films, the Galadriel played by Morfydd Clark in Amazon's upcoming series, The Rings of Power, is thousands of years younger, as angry and brash as she is clever, and certain that evil is looming closer than anyone realizes. By episode 2, her warning set her adrift, literally and figuratively, until she's struggling for survival on a raft in the storm-swept sundering seas alongside a mortal castaway named Hal Brand, who is a new character introduced in the show. Galadriel is fighting for the future, Hal Brand is running from the past. Their entwined destinies are just two of the stories woven together for a TV series that, if it works, could become a global phenomenon, but if it falls short, it could become a cautionary tale for anyone who, to quote J.R.R. Tolkien, delves too greedily and too deep. So along with that description, we also get a pretty interesting picture of young Galadriel. We see her wearing armor with an interesting sword, and another fact to point out about that armor is that star on the front of it. That could play a major role in what happens. But we also see in the background, we see fire. It almost looks like there's some people, looking at it, worried, while she's kind of looking at something else off in the distance. Either way, it's interesting to finally see what she looks like, what her armor looks like, and the sword. We also got our first look at Prince Durin IV, prince of the bustling subterranean realm of Khazad-dûm. The next character that we get to see is the half-elf Elrond, and as the article says, he is a politically ambitious young leader in the new show. And perhaps my favorite picture that we got to see today is Elrond and Galadriel being reunited in the majestic elven kingdom of Lindon. Now, from this photo, my first concern is it looks a little too, fancy, at least from what we're used to with Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth. I don't know, I'm hoping it's just this photo and the lighting and everything, but either way, I'm really excited to see this relationship and Elrond and Galadriel at a young age, and to see more about them and get to see more what they went through to become what we see later on in the Lord of the Rings. So those first pictures are the ones that stood out most to me, the ones that I really enjoyed. But we also got, along with those ones, we got some other pictures. So we got the dwarven princess Disa standing at Khazad-dûm's entrance. We also got the sylvan elf Arondir, who is a character who's been created for the series, so this isn't in any of the lore, so this is something that could be interesting. Hopefully they do it right, but he's someone else that we saw. Another one, we also saw Galadriel and Hal Brand, who it looks like they're, in really a dire spot on sea, or at sea, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. The article also talks about how she has to find her way through water. That'll be interesting. I don't know exactly how they'll play it out, but again, I'm going to try to remain optimistic because some of the visuals we got today actually looked really cool. Some are questionable, but I'm going to remain giving too much judgment until we actually see a trailer and actually see the show come out. Here we see Bronwyn, the lady, with her forbidden love Arondir, who is an elf, in the village of Tirharad. So this one really caught my eye, mainly because of the tusks on the back of these two, their bags. I don't know what exactly it's from, but Vanity Fair says, director points away for two nomadic hunters wandering the fields of Middle-earth. So this could be intriguing. I don't really know what to expect here, but regardless, it definitely sticks out. And finally, we have Hal Brand. He's a new character who will be a fugitive from his own past. And as I said earlier, he's basically trying to run from his past And definitely in the beginning of the show, from what I can tell from this article, we're going to see a lot of Hal Brand and Galadriel as she's trying to fight for her future. He's trying to run from his past, so it'll be interesting to see that dynamic sort of play out. I don't know exactly what to expect from it, but this is Hal Brand, and it should be exciting. And the article basically ends by talking about the time compression. So they're basically saying that they don't want it to be too, as they say, documentary style, where they're, not introducing the characters that they wanted till the fourth season. So it sounds like they're going to be, kind of going fast through the timeline, which is scary. It's scary to me. It's, something that could really throw off some of the character arcs and the characteristics of each race. For example, men, they only live around 200 years, and elves, live forever. So they're going to have to make sure that they show that and make sure that they can clearly show it if they're going to compress all the time. So that's one of the biggest things that worries me from this article. Like I said, though, I'm going to try to remain optimistic as possible because we haven't even seen a trailer yet. So I don't want to go too deep into, a lot of these little things, but either way, I'm excited. So overall, my final thoughts are basically, it's awesome to be able to see Middle Earth again. Some of the pictures were questionable in terms of lighting, in terms of, set, in terms of all that. But, like I just said, we haven't even seen a trailer, so I'm not going to be too harsh on that. It was very cool to see young Galadriel and young Elrond. I like that. I also like seeing Durin. I think he looks amazing. I think out of all of them, he probably looks most like, the dwarf that we're accustomed to. But I think it's also really important to remember this is totally different time frame than Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. Everything's going to be, slightly different. I'm hoping for, a new feel, but also that nostalgia feeling. But, I'm just trying to remain optimistic. There's a lot of people trying to be negative. There's a lot of people being positive. I'm trying to be optimistic. I love Middle Earth. I love Tolkien. I love all this. And, for me to be negative on it, there's really no point. So I'm going to try to focus on the positives. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more updates on, the Lord of the Rings of Power, and all of Middle Earth, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. As I'm just starting this YouTube channel, I'm going to cover a lot more. We're going to get a trailer, hopefully, a minute-long trailer, teaser trailer on Sunday at the Super Bowl. So if you're watching the Super Bowl, watch out for it. If you're not watching the Super Bowl, that's fine. Watch it on YouTube later. I'm going to post it. I'm sure other accounts will post it, so it should be easy to find. But either way, this is exciting news. We're getting closer, and we're getting closer to returning to Middle Earth.